Good morning, my dear students. I welcome to all of you to this session of refrigeration and air conditioning, lecture number 33, dark design and air distribution. Air distribution system. This is coming under module 5. So, I am Dhiraj Mondol, Assistant Professor, JIS College of Engineering, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Kolani, Nodia. You know that we are discussing the refrigeration and air conditioning subject ME 504 for dedicated for mechanical fifth semester third year student. Today we are going to discuss about the introduction to the dark design and air distribution system. Here we will be seeing that how the air is circulated through the duct, and what is the condition, how we can transfer that particular refrigerated air to maintain the system temperature constant. Okay, so let us start. The air which is possessed in air handling unit is applied to room which are to be air conditioned. The requires on air distribution system components are there are mainly some components which are required: supply air duct, supply air outlet, return air outlet, return air duct. These are the required things which is always working on for this air distribution system. Okay, if I am classifying this the high velocity this duct, then high velocity and low velocity duct I can classify into two types. So high velocity duct means velocity higher than 750 meter per minute are considered high velocity, and the higher velocity cause great noise and large pressure drop. Okay, in case of low velocity duct, the most of the conditioning system use low velocity duct due to noise level consideration. Shape of the duct. If I am talking about the shape of the duct, so here basically the high velocity duct means 750 meter per minute. It is considering the high velocity duct, and below that 750 meter per minute we consider low velocity duct, and most of the air conditioning system use low velocity duct due to low noise level. Okay, so noise is very important, because if there is any noise, then the inside the system, then there may be some uh, uneasy condition. That means your uncomfortable condition will be arise because of this sound, okay, or noise. If I'm talking about the shape of the duct, the circular shape is most compact shape, which requires less material and has least frictional pressure drop, and it is difficult to construct. Okay, so for most of the thing we are using this circular shape duct. Why? Because it is most compact, and the shape which requires very less material as compared to the any other duct system, and also it has the least frictional pressure drop. Okay, and it is very difficult to construct also. That is another thing, but the circular duct is desirable for the purpose of the flowing of air. Okay, refrigerated air. Next is, when if I'm talking about the square shape duct, then the square shape is also a compact shape and not economical to maintain throughout the length of the of duct. It is also compact shape, and the rectangular shape shape is the most common shape for low velocity duct because it is easy to construct at site. Okay, we can easily construct in the low velocity duct, and it is low velocity, no, not no low velocity, it is easily construct the rectangular shaped duct, and uh, it is used for low velocity duct. Okay, now if I'm talking about the aspect ratio, the lower aspect ratio, the lower aspect ratio is a ratio of larger to smaller dimension of cross section. So in case of a duct, we have to consider that what is the aspect ratio and all this. The ratio of larger to smaller dimension of construction is called your lower aspect ratio. Less material due to lesser perimeter is required here, and the less material due to high gauge of sheet, lesser cost of installation, lesser insulation cost, lesser running cost due to lesser pressure drop. These kind of phenomena, these kind of things we can observe here. Next is your pressure. If I'm talking about the pressure losses, then the loss of pressure due to friction between moving particles of the fluid and the interior surface of duct, and it occurs throughout the duct length. And and these pressure loss due to friction, we will observe some pressure loss by in case of flow through pipe in your fluid mechanics subject. You have gone through this. Again we will be discussing a little bit that due to what is the loss, frictional loss, when there is some suddenly enlarged pipe, suddenly contract, pipe is suddenly contracted, and then suddenly there is some bend. Okay, some obstruction. At that time what will be the losses, that will be discussed. Now the dynamic loss of pressure occurs due to change in cross section of the duct, and also due to change in direction of the duct. Okay, in this schematic diagram you can see the velocity reduction method. That means the fan is there, you can see the fan, and from the fan the air is circulated, refrigerated air is circulated, and from A to B, B to C, and A to B, one system you can see, and from A to C, and C to G and D, both the way it is following, and from D to E and F, and from G to H and I. So these are the things that if you are considering it is a room, and 1 2 3 4 5, it is a room. So from the central, if I'm talking about the central AC, that from the central part, the fan, by the help of the duct system, the circulate refrigerated air or cooling air can be can be flowing through this way. uh, in the figure you can see here, in this figure you can see how the process is going on, the duct design system. This is the duct. So from the main chamber, from outside the room, from the where the refrigerated air is from is air is produced, that refrigerated air is coming through this duct, and you can see the arrow. Okay, so the air, circulated air, how it is coming and how it is going back. So by taking the latent heat from the room temperature, from the room, so the all the section, all the space should be maintained, should be maintain a constant temperature. So this is the way, this is the, by the help of this we can maintain a constant temperature. So in case of velocity reduction method, the velocity method is one of the simplest way of designing the duct system for both supply and return air. However, the application of this method requires selection of suitable velocity in different duct runs, which requires experiences. And if I'm talking about the equal friction loss method, the method is based on the principle that friction rate per unit length in the entire duct system would be maintained constant, and the duct duct size would be the duct size would be calculated for different discharges by keeping friction rate constant. Okay, this method is generally suitable for when the duct are not too long, and it can be used for both supply and return duct. However, similar to velocity method, the equal friction method also requires partial closure of the damper in all but the index run, which may generate noise. So in case of equal friction loss, this kind of phenomena we can see. And now the static pressure recovery method, if I am talking about the static pressure recovery method, this method is commonly used for high velocity system. That means your 750 meter per second, meter per minute. Okay, so greater than 750 meter per minute. So this is commonly used for high velocity system, which with long duct runs, especially in large system. In this method, the static pressure is maintained same before each terminal or branches. So from the duct 1, you can see it is two way it is following that, duct 1 and duct 2. Here you can see two way it is following. From the path 2, it is following again two way. You can say the 2A 2B. Okay, so this is how the particular refrigerated air is flowing. And the static pressure recovery method is the method commonly used for high velocity system with long duct runs, so especially in large system. Okay, and this method, the static pressure is maintained same before each terminal or branch. Okay, the static pressure would be maintained. The duct design, the schematic diagram of the duct design, you can see this is the room, and the floor, the roof is very totally eliminated, and we can see from the top portion of the roof. This is the top view. And what happened here, basically the air is circulated, through through this duct, and all the space is maintain constant temperature. Let us talk about the air distribution in air distribution system. Induction of air, spread of outlet, throw of outlet, drop of the outlet, effect of vents. These are the important points which has to be discussed here. The type of outlets are vane registers, slotted outlets, ceiling diffuser, and perforated panels. Okay, and if I'm talking about the location of outlet, that is your wall, ceiling, floor. Okay, so in the room you can see this room should be refrigerated. Now this is your duct system, the duct system and how it is operated. I hope it is clear. Now if I'm talking about the cooling load estimation, in case of cooling load estimation, that means the principle of heat transfer you need to know at that time. Heat, that means we know that heat energy cannot be destroyed. That means the first law of thermodynamics is your energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Only it can be converted in one state to another state, isn't it? So the heat always flows from higher temperature substance to a lower temperature substance, and heat can be transferred from one substance to another. Okay, so the cooling load estimation, it is very important to know. But before this discussion of the cooling load estimation, let us let us discuss the general aspect of duct system, because this is very important to know about the general aspect of the duct system. Otherwise we can't understand. And this load estimation, okay, load estimation. Now the general, if I'm talking about the duct system general aspect, the function of the duct is to convey the air between 2 points. Am I right? So the function of the duct is to convey the air between 2 points, such as between the air handling unit or air washer and the room to be conditioned. It also requires the room air back to the air conditioning apparatus. Okay, so we have seen that there are mainly two types of duct system. One is your low velocity duct system and the high velocity duct system. Low velocity, that means the in case of low velocity duct system, the velocity in the main supply duct is within 750 or 760 meter per minute, you can say. And in case of high velocity duct system, the velocity of air, it will be 760 meter per minute, above 760 meter per minute. Now return air duct, whichever return air duct wherever used normally have low velocity, whether for low velocity or high velocity system. Okay, the successful operation of any air conditioning system is dependent upon the sufficient circulation of air in the air conditioned space. For selection of proper duct size, it is necessary to have the careful estimation of the pressure losses. The duct cost in air conditioning system is about 20 to 30% of the total cost of the equipment required. And so the successful operation of any air conditioning system is depend upon the sufficient circulation of air in the air conditioned space. For selection of proper duct size, it is necessary to have the careful estimation of the pressure losses. Okay. Now the duct cost in air conditioning system is about 20 to 30% of total cost of the equipment required. And power required by the fan contributes the substantial part of the running cost. It is therefore necessary to design an air duct system for least capital cost and lowest running cost of the fan. Okay, so now let us discuss about the duct size, shape, material and construction. So here the shape, the duct has to be so sized that it is accommodated within the available space. Air, like other fluids, while passing through a duct suffers a pressure drop due to friction. Okay, larger the quantity of air passing through a given cross sectional area of the duct, the greater will be the frictional loss and pressure drop. The fan selected has to deliver the required quantity of air, overcoming the resistance offered by the various components. Okay, various components like your cooling coil, air washer, filter, supply and returns, air outlets, damper, etc. in the air distribution system. That is, the fan has to work against a head. As this head increases, the fan will need higher power, and furthermore, as velocity increases, noise level due to air motion also increases. Thus, on these two counts, the velocity of air in the duct has to be kept at a reasonably low level. Okay, and with lower air velocity, the size of the duct that means and the material content, size of the duct, material content of the duct, okay, increases, and thus the duct system should be a balance between the initial cost and the operating cost for a given rate of flow of air. Okay, the initial cost depends on the size of the duct. Okay, and a smaller size duct will cost less, but with a smaller duct the air velocity will increase, and so pressure loss due to friction also will increase. Now the fan will then have to use more power to overcome the heat, thereby increasing the operating cost. Instead of evaluating the balance of initial cost and operating cost in every case, designers depends upon past experience and generally accepted recommended air velocity in the duct are employed. In the duct, pressure of the air falls due to two reasons. Like first one is your frictional losses, and second one is your dynamic losses. Frictional losses primarily due to surface friction, and the dynamic losses is from sudden changes of the direction of the airflow in velocity and eddy sources. The pressure loss increases with duct length also, because we know that by the help of Darcy-Weisbach principle we can see that if the fluid is flowing, the HF is equal to 4FL B square by 2ZD. That is the formula by the help of which we can measure the particular frictional loss and head loss due to friction, and this is also called your major loss. In case of flow through pipe, you have gone through this in the fluid mechanics chapter, and here we will be discussing the frictional loss primarily due to surface friction and the dynamic loss due from sudden changes in the direction of the airflow. Okay, direction of the airflow in velocity and the eddy surface. Okay, now the pressure loss increases when the direction of airflow is changed because of the change in the direction of the duct route. Okay, now the pressure loss occurs when air is abruptly made to pass from a large duct to a smaller duct. Eddies will be formed at the abrupt point of contraction, leading to pressure drop. Likewise, when there is an abrupt expansion in the duct, there will be much higher pressure loss than in case of an abrupt contraction, and as more of eddies are created. Okay, now the pressure loss can be substantially reduced by making the change gradual instead of being abrupt. The aspect ratio, if I'm talking about the aspect ratio is the ratio of long side to the short side of the duct. Okay, what do you mean by aspect ratio? It is the ratio of the long side to the short side of the duct. Then that means if a rectangular duct is taken, then the length or height of the rectangular duct to the breadth or width of the rectangular duct is called your aspect ratio. The long side to the short side always. Okay, so it will be minimum 1 and greater than unity. Okay, greater than equal to unity. As the aspect ratio increases, more material surface is required for the duct for the same cross sectional area, isn't it? So the aspect ratio, if it is increases, then more metal surface is required for the duct for the same cross sectional area. Thus, higher aspect ratios increase not only the initial cost but also the operating cost by way of increased heat gain or loss. Thus, this ratio is an important factor to be considered in the design of the duct. Okay, and for the same cross sectional area, Okay, so this ratio, this aspect ratio is the important factor to be considered in the design of the duct, because the material required and also operating cost, if it is increasing, then it is not suitable for better output. So for the same cross sectional area, a circular duct requires less surface area, which is that is saving the material fabrication and erection cost. Okay, so less surface area than a rectangular duct. Okay, so we will see that circular duct requires less um, circular duct require the your less material, isn't it? So already it is you can see a circular duct shape, it is required more less material than the rectangular one, okay, or any other shape. Okay, also mm, we can say that the circular duct offers less resistance to flow due to absence of corner. There is not any corner, because of that corner there must be some losses. Okay, so there must be some pressure losses and all this, that is your due to friction head loss you can observe. Now pressure and the basically the it is offering some offers resistance, less resistance to the flow of the absence of the corner. Now however it usually becomes difficult to accommodate the round duct in the available space, hence rectangular duct are generally adopted. Why? Rectangular duct is not so difficult to manufacture, and it is usually basically it is very useful and available, and easily it can be manufactured, and that is why it is needed, because the circular duct it is difficult to accommodate and the round duct in the available space. Okay, round shaped duct. Okay, duct. That is why many in the in industry or in your any corporate office you can see the rectangular shape of duct you can observe. Okay, hence rectangular duct is generally adopted in the particular corporate building or any other any anywhere you can see, because of this, because it is easy to manufacture and easy to handle and easy to everything, it will be very easy. So the rectangular duct selected should be as nearly square as possible. Okay, it should not be rectangular, it should be nearly square as possible. This is because the square requires less surface area than a rectangular one. For the same cross sectional area, the rectangular section should be so sized as to have low aspect ratio. The aspect ratio in any case should not exceed 4 is to 1. So aspect ratio means what? Aspect ratio means the long side to the short side of the duct, and we are considering the rectangular shape or size duct, but it should be it should be the square one. Okay, the shape should be square, so that what will happen, the less surface area will be required for the same cross sectional area, and the rectangular section should be so sized to have low aspect ratio, and the aspect ratio should always the aspect ratio in any case should not exceed 4 is to 1. Since the aspect ratio of a square section is 1, the square duct or duct very near a square section is best suited for minimizing the initial and operating cost. Okay, so we know that in case of rectangular duct, the square duct, the aspect ratio is 1. So that is why the duct very near to square section and best suited for for minimizing the initial and operating cost. So this is all about the aspect ratio. and the aspect ratio, and this is very important parameter for to design a particular duct. So next class we will be discussing duct material and duct construction, and these are the things it will be discussed. So pressure in duct, it will also discussed. So today up to this, thank you for listening. Jai.